Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. And one of the top stories that we are following this morning is that several of the protesters who were arrested at Emory University yesterday have faced a judge. It was their first appearance in court. Let me just show you some footage related to this story and these protests that have really been ongoing across the nation. And of course, Emory University, one of the latest to see these protests against the Israel-Hamas war. Well, 20 of the 28 people arrested at Emory University yesterday were actually part of the Emory University community, and they were students, even a professor. So they appeared in court facing a judge today, some allegedly assaulting police, asking to be freed, others accused of vandalism, trespassing, and we saw actually people restrained in zip ties and handcuffs. According to Emory University officials, objects were thrown at police officers during the demonstrations. Well, Georgia State Patrol says troopers used tasers and pepper balls to try to control the crowds. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm is outside DeKalb County Magistrate Court with more.
So, Mr. Allen, do you understand the charges against you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Dressed in orange jumpsuits, several protesters joined others arrested for various misdemeanors in DeKalb County for a virtual first appearance with a judge. Their charges, mostly criminal trespass and obstruction, stem from this protest on the campus of Emory University Thursday. Several students, non-students, professors, even a department chair were arrested on campus while protesting Israel's response to the October 7th attacks. Emory is a private institution with specific rules on when and where the community can demonstrate. Several who were asked to leave clashed with officers and were arrested.
If the defendant is an employee of Emory University, the defendant may not arrive more than 30 minutes prior to the start of the scheduled workday and must depart within 30 minutes of the end of their scheduled workday.
My additional request would be that he be able to attend his graduation, not specifically a class per se.
And the judge did allow that. Afterward, Emory's provost appeared on the Zoom call, and the judge decided after those remarks to have no restrictions for students or faculty members who were arrested. However, non-students will be required to stay away from campus. Outside DeKalb County Magistrate Court, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Rebecca for that report. Now, more Metro Atlanta College students gathered last night saying that they stand with the students and the faculty member arrested at Emory University. Atlanta News First anchor Carly Barnett was outside the King Center where they assembled, and she has more on their message.
From Atlanta to Palestine,
occupation is a crime.
Dozens gathered outside of the King Center Thursday after Emory University's campus erupted between pro-Palestinian demonstrators and law enforcement. Mojan Sora is a student at Spelman who says she was at Emory.
Students were handing out food, handing out literature, engaging in conversation in an open and welcoming space until over 200 Georgia State troopers came and brutalized my friends, throwing tear gas, rubber bullets.
Emory officials say the demonstrators were trespassing onto private property. Those who were there say they were enacting their right to protest.
To still point their guns that are full of tear gas at me, knowing that we are just students, that we're only 18, 19, 20-year-olds, that we haven't seen the world, and that's the argument that they make against us every time that we try to make a point. But yet, they still use their guns against us.
APD, KKK, IDF, they're all the same.
Students like Daxton Pettis at Morehouse say those displays are exactly why they oppose the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, which they call Cop City.
And when people say militarization, some people get confused. But what you saw today at Emory, that is militarization. Students with pamphlets, students passing out free food, met with bullets, guns, tasers, arrested. That is militarization.
And thank you so much to Carly for that report. Okay, let's talk about the North Druid Hills Bridge closure. All right, so all week long we've been warning you about this critical road closure in Brookhaven. Today is the day it's happening. At 9 p.m., the Georgia Department of Transportation closes the North Druid Hills Bridge connecting to Buford Highway. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford has what you need to know.
Well, this is going to be a traffic mess, as this bridge right here on North Druid Hills Road that will be closing for almost 90 days. You can see construction crews are out here preparing for tonight's closure, and you'll need to be prepared too. And if you live or work in the area, this will be your designated detour for the next 3 months. This will essentially limit the access from North Druid Hills Road to Buford Highway. One of the suggested detours is to get back on I-85 and exit Claremont Road. GDOT says the project will widen the pedestrian sidewalks and provide much needed upgrade to this decades-old bridge. Needless to say, drivers aren't looking forward to this closure.
Oh my God, that's gonna be crazy because going to work it's not gonna be easy. Like it's gonna be like it can make people going late. Yes, you're right. It's gonna be a headache. Yes.
Now that suggested detour is expected to add 15 additional minutes to your commute, so you'll want to plan ahead. In DeKalb County, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Brittany for that report. Okay, let's talk about the airport expansion. So a $1.4 billion upgrade designed to make your trips in and out of town easier. Atlanta News First, Madeline Montgomery shows us the unique construction project underway at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport's Concourse D. And it brought America's Transportation Secretary to town.
Think of them as building blocks.
We awarded $40 million through President Biden's infrastructure law, and you got to work with this innovative technology, building the modular units here.
19 of these modules are being built on a construction site away from the airport and then moved to Concourse D.
We're basically going to rebuild the entire building, and we want to do it with minimal disruptions.
The module method is designed to be safer, keeping construction workers away from planes and keeping you away from all the work.
We're able to execute this massive expansion and upgrade with a minimal amount of disruption to our operations at the world's busiest airport.
When all of this is said and done, instead of these empty walls, these are going to be restaurants, shops, making Concourse D 75% larger in square space and 50% wider.
300,000 people come through this airport, and this Biden-Harris bipartisan infrastructure law is helping that.
The expansion will add 1,000 more seats for passengers to wait for flights, plus new bathrooms, shops, and restaurants.
And doing it without that traffic, that air traffic or foot traffic skipping a beat. It's an extraordinary thing that moves you one step closer to that modernized concourse that'll accommodate the volume of passengers who travel through here.
5 of these modules will be completed by June. They've been working on these for a year and a half. This is a 5-year project. Reporting at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Madeline for that report. All right, let's talk about this Delta drag, the 2024 Delta jet drag ongoing at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport today. Atlanta News First reporter Joshua Skinner has been there all morning long. And not only brings us a story, but also joined in on the action. And it's all in the name of defeating cancer.
What's the secret to pulling a plane?
A good heave, at least get the plane rolling at first.
The strategy is you've got to have somebody really good at the end to kind of pull you through.
And don't forget a big breakfast.
Orange juice is cereal and a good bit of coffee.
And this feat of fitness is all in the name of fighting cancer, with proceeds going to the American Cancer Society. Annual jet drag brought out the numbers. TB12, 255,000 pounds of 757, more than $1 million raised, 80 teams of pullers, including more than 20 female pilots.
Do they train you in pilot school how to pull a plane?
They do not, actually, strangely enough. That is not in pilot training. Probably should be at this point.
And don't forget a reporter with one very large ego.
But Josh, I need to know who told you you were strong in this building. Because if you can't provide names, I don't believe it. Thanks, my friend. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.
I'm glad we get that question answered today, though. Can he do it?
Only one way to find out.
Been waiting for this my whole life.
That is some Old Testament strength, but strength alone doesn't beat cancer.
Unfortunately, cancer is still one of the #1 reasons for so many individuals losing their lives, and we want to be here to prevent it.
So they pull planes on the ground to find a way to get a cure in the air. On the tarmac, Joshua Skinner.
The real winners are the friends we made along the way.
Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Josh Skinner for his report and also his effort there today, just trying to join in on the drag. All right, well, thanks so much for being with us on Atlanta News First Plus. You can get more on all those stories on atlantanewsfirst.com or by downloading our free Atlanta News First mobile news app. Again, it's totally free. It's in the Apple and Google Play Store. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.